Our old mate Craig Thomson, fair dinkum. What about Thommo? Today we learn that Thommo has got a couple of mates who want to help him out with his legal bills. As you know, he's currently facing some matters, both in civil and criminal court, about his time at the Health Services Union. There's an awful lot of trouble that he is facing at the moment, some pretty serious criminal charges. And the question has always been, who is paying Thommo's legal bills? Now, we all know that the first time around, when he stupidly decided to sue Fairfax for defamation against what ultimately has now become the thing that Craig Thomson is defined by, those credit card receipts, those ladies of the night, and who actually paid for it. Well, the Labor Party paid that time. Who pays this time? Well, obviously, it has to be Craig Thomson. He's an independent member of Parliament, right? Well, there are plenty of reports that he doesn't have an awful lot of money in the bank. But we can't allow dear Craig to become a bankrupt, because if that happens, you know what happens. The entire government falls. He can't vote in the Parliament anymore. In fact, he'd have to leave the Parliament, and fingers crossed, we might actually get an election. But today, we saw this. This popped up on the internet. Have a look at this. This is a website that has been launched by, not Craig Thomson, but by two supporters of Craig Thomson. However, it includes the following words from Craig Thomson. Now, I have asked Craig directly to confirm that these are his words, but given some of the more passionate comments that he has made in and around this issue, I'm pretty sure these would be his words. Anyway, it says, as you can read, "Dear friends, the purpose of this web page is to provide details of an account which will accept donations for my legal defence. I have made it clear on numerous occasions that in the media I am innocent of all allegations made against me. I strongly believe in the Constitution and that people are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Unfortunately, these common law principles and accepted constitutional rights of every Australian have been abused. I know that, like me, the great majority of people believe in the rights of all Australians to defend themselves." There we go. Many thanks. Craig Thomson. Bank account details are put underneath it. Now, Craig Thomson's allowed to have as many supporters as he wants, but we're also able to tell you who some of those people may well be, where the bank accounts originate from, who are some of the people who may well be trying to do Craig Thomson's bidding. And that's why I have Kate McClymont on the program this evening. By absolute luck, she was already booked, but she's done her homework. She's got a big story in the paper tomorrow, and you will hear part of it first here tonight on Sky News. Now, Kate, this is a complete act of randomness, but it's proof that there may well be somebody upstairs. We were going to have you on the show tonight anyway. And then Craig Thomson, this little story pops up in the middle of the day. This is a website that has been set up, not by Craig Thomson, but by supporters of Craig Thomson. Here is part of that, and I read it to you before. You may notice that I have left the bank account details off, because if you want to go and give to Thommo's mates, good luck to you. You can go and find it. But I did want to show a little bit of a Twitter exchange between yourself, Kate McClymont, and Craig Thomson. Let's begin here. It begins with Kate making the rather obvious comment there. The bloke's only got $60 in his own bank account. So hang on, how's all this work? I like the credit card joke as well. He responds, watch your times there, from a BlackBerry. "Not my account. You get your facts wrong again." Oh, wave his finger at you, he did. Kate's response, which I thought was a decent one. "Don't insult our intelligence. God love you, darling." I'm sorry to do this to you on national television, but I like this, all right? And what a good point. As if he's not the person responsible. He comes back again. There we go. Stick to the facts, please. Unbelievable. All right, now, and then you got back in there which I like. As if he's not the beneficiary of this. First things first. Have you been able to work out who the two people are who apparently Craig Thomson has never met, who are behind this fund?
Well, look, I did a little bit of searching, and I found that the bank account is located in Bathurst, and that one of those two people, Mark Worthington, is a former Labor candidate for the federal seat of Calare. I don't know who Rodney Allen is. But also, we must remember that on this, on the little letter, it's Craig signing it. But,
correct.
You know, one thing that puzzles me about this is we do have something called legal aid. when you are financially challenged, you know, litigants are not left high and dry. You can obtain legal aid. You don't need to be going round asking people to kick in to your fighting fund.
Not for a civil case, though.
Yeah, but also what is interesting about all of this is that, OK, Craig Thomson says he's never met these two people, and I don't know how all this works, and I'm sure this is going to be your life for the next few days. If he's never met these people, how did they get in contact with him, and how did he end up writing a letter, basically that is this public letter that I've just read on the air that he ended up signing?
And who are going to be the trustees of this account? How is it going to be managed? Who is going to arrange for the payment to, you know, because I hope that the payments are going to the lawyers.
The most pertinent question is who's going to donate money to it?
Well, yes.
I mean, that's not going to be a very long-lived fund, is it?
Yeah, we're talking about a national fee that people are willing to pay when it comes to a Medicare leave. I reckon this bloke might be struggling to find people, even sometimes maybe even in his own house, willing to shell out. Now, also, that little tweet at the start I had to ask you about the $60 in his bank account. Obviously, he's close to broke. If he was a bankrupt, then that's it. He's out of the parliament. $60 in his bank account?
But the fascinating thing was, because somebody tweeted, like, how do you know about his personal bank account? And I replied, it's because his own lawyer tendered it as an affidavit in the federal court to say, you know, my client owes $23,000 on his credit card and has $60 in the bank.
Wow.
Now, this is somebody who is earning $190,000. You know, I do think it raises questions about why we should be funding somebody who most people would think that is a pretty good income.
Well, absolutely.
Almost $200,000 plus travel expenses.
Yeah, well, exactly. Now, can you also give
an electorate allowance?
Yeah, an electorate allowance. But can you give me an idea here, Kate? And I'm sorry to pepper with the questions. It's just obviously you're more across this than I am. Is that the suspension of the civil charges against him while the criminal ones are currently taking place? Craig Thomson was running around saying, basically, case over, we're almost done. Can you explain what has happened with him?
Yes, look, what has happened with him is that Fair Work Australia, which is now called Fair Work Commission, has taken civil action against Craig Thomson. And this is in relation to allegations that he misspent union money, you know, via a credit card on prostitutes and other things. But Craig Thomson is also facing, you know, more than 150 charges, criminal charges. Now, some of those charges overlap, and in these instances, a criminal case is always regarded as much more important. So the federal court has agreed to put those charges which overlap with his criminal charges, they'll put them to one side until after the criminal matters have been dealt with. They are merely postponed. They have not been, you know, thrown out. They have not gone away. They are just on standby until the criminal matters are dealt with.
And his view, as again stated on Twitter, is that if the criminal matters go his way, then automatically the civil matters don't mean anything. It doesn't work like that, does it?
No, it doesn't. They're completely separate jurisdictions there. And the other thing is there are a different burden of proof. For instance, in a criminal case, it's beyond reasonable doubt. The burden of proof in a civil case is not quite as high as that. So they are two distinct areas.
It was interesting what you said, Mark, about the access to legal aid when it comes to a civil proceeding versus a criminal one. Is that partly why one would need to shake the tin? I mean, we don't know. We're not in his head.
Who knows? I mean, he's going to need a big tin. I mean, undoubtedly, he's got. I mean, it's hugely expensive to run a defence. So, you know, he's making a valid point. It is, as anyone who's ever been in any form of litigation would know. I mean, I'm a bit of a sucker. When someone says, you know, I'm a believer in the presumption of innocence, I fall for it every time, or I think it's a good starting point. But God, he's making it hard.
Even you!
Yes.
Even you!
Just give me some idea what you're talking about when you're saying you're innocent of this. I'd love to just suggest something that says you're innocent.
But what I found amazing too here, Gary, is that, you know, this bloke's got one heck of a hide, but there's no breaking news in that. He was out on the internet today talking to Tim Lester on the Fairfax website, waxing lyrical about what he thinks should and shouldn't happen with the NDIS levy. So despite the fact that literally on the same day he is on bended knee asking the public for money, he's out there pretending to be the moral authority of the parliament about what legislation should and shouldn't pass.
Well, he's got to justify the 190,000 plus electorate allowance of about 30 or 40,000. So what's that? Best part of $250,000 he gets paid a year. Wow. So he's got to do his job, one would guess. But could this be also part of the defence? I mean, could this be a proof of the claim that someone has been, signing things on his behalf in other places, because here we got a letter signed on his behalf. I mean, this whole mystery gets thicker. I mean, I think I can't fault what Kate's version of events are in regards to the burden of proof and all of the other aspects of what she just said. Anyway, time will tell. I believe in the presumption of innocence as well. He's denied that he's done anything wrong, and we'll let the courts decide. But I hope that justice is also swift, not as lethargic as, what is it, Fair Work Commission?
yeah, where they've changed they've changed the stationery again. I will also say this too, is that while obviously we'll see what a court does, there is the BS test, and this bloke, he fails it every single time. Kate's got
he's
some
consistent,
great stuff.
Paul. He's consistent.
If nothing else, he is consistent at it. That he can run out of cash. That he needs help from other people.
I'm vastly disappointed that the word vindicated was not in that letter.
Oh, well,
because I always think of Craig Thompson and vindicated.